Yeah. Hi, good afternoon. Thanks for coming to this session. This is DEM360. I'm Christine Flora. I've been working in Power Platform and Power Apps for over 15 years now. I'm a Microsoft MVP in Power Apps, as well as an MCP. Today, we're going to be talking about Power Apps and the new Power Apps MCP tool, why it's important. We're going to do a little bit of grounding on why it's important and how it can open up the ability to securely expose your data with the context of M365, including Outlook, Excel, Word, Teams, and of course, Copilot and Copilot Studio. Then we're going to talk about, we're going to actually look at how to enable your Power Apps for the MCP, as well as create a custom tool associated with it that you can then upload for richer experiences with your data in M365, just like somebody's in your app. Then we're going to cover and finish it off with how some of the prerequisites that you need to do this so that you can go and play and work and create your own custom tools. And then we're going to finish up with some links. So let's get started. So why Power Apps MCP? MCPs are the kind of like the universal translator for agionic experiences these days. They work and give you basic capabilities into writing and basic CRUD information. And Power Apps is basically, in Power Platform, is a suite of tools that enables business, subject matter experts, and professional developers to create mission-critical solutions, automate processes, analyze data, and even create AI-driven solutions using connected data, all without needing deep technical skills. It enables and empowers business users to rapidly solve business solutions with their own expertise, because they know their data and their problems better than almost anybody, using WYSIWYG layout tools and natural language prompts to build data structures and even whole solutions. It also enables traditional developers to build and extend using advanced capabilities like VS Code, Claude, GitHub Copilot, DevOps Git, and even Copilot Studio, and especially Copilot Studio. As I said, MCPs are like a universal translator for today's agionic, including the just announced autopilots and WorkIQ. I've added some additional slides within this presentation for you to go in and look. I'm not going to read these because I think that our time, you guys really want to see this in action. So let's take a look at that. And I'm going to be hopping around a bit between a bunch of different tools. I'm going to be in Power Apps and the Maker portal. I'm going to be in VS Code with Claude. And also, of course, I'm going to be in M365 to demo this functionality. So as I jump between the different tools, I'll tell you what I'm jumping to so you know where I'm at. And you can follow along when you do your own testing and playing around with this awesome capability. For this demo, I actually created an equipment maintenance application. It allows me to see upcoming work orders, everything about my equipment, when they were purchased, any inspections that were made, work order information, so that we can keep up on keeping them in work order and available to do work on the shop floor. This is a Power App. And as you can see, it's very rich and visual, but I want to be able to expose that data for users of this application, no matter where they're at, including M365. So if I go over to Copilot, so I was in Power Apps over here. Now I'm going over to Copilot. I have this new chat. If I just do this show work orders, it's not going to see anything beyond the context of M365. It'll look in my SharePoint drive, my OneDrive, all my works, and what you're going to see is it's going to see some sample data that I did in preparing for this demo, but it's really limited and it's not showing any of the data within the Power App that I just showed you for equipment maintenance. But with the MCP and the Power Apps, I can actually create a declarative agent that will let people see my data within the context of M365. Just by mentioning this declarative agent that I've already uploaded into my M365, if I do that same prompt, now what it's going to do, because I have declared it on this agent, it'll go out to my application and bring back the information that I requested in this format as a list. Now, this is a live look at my data. There's nothing static about it. I can change the sorting and select it just like I am in my application. I can even drill down and look into the record that I want to see without having to go into my app outside. And I can do this in Word, Outlook, Excel, as well as here within Copilot. This is a very rich UI, as you can see, as it is. And if I were to say open right now, it would open my app straight from this record. So that's a really great shortcut into getting into the app. So I'd have to go in my app, then I'd sort and select, and I don't want to do that, right? But with MCP now and the release of being able to create our own custom tools, I can offer my users even more rich interaction and insights into my data. So for example, if I say show my equipment work order status, this is a custom tool that I've created that allows me to show different aspects of it as well as cards on the equipment. So as you can see, it came up and I have these KPIs and cards at the top, as well as some pretty good graphics associated with it. And then I was able to create a card for each type of machine or equipment that I have in my shop floor. It's coming straight from my application, and I've styled it in a really nice way, and it's completely interactive. So I can say, show me open issues, show me work orders, and drill straight down into that piece of equipment. Now, another custom tool that I've done is, let's say that I wanted to be able to I wanted to see all my upcoming work orders and see if we have any kind of resource restrictions. Am I missing anything? What does my schedule look like for work orders coming up in the next week, in the next 2 weeks, in the next 3 weeks? And I could probably do that over in my application, but I wanted to provide this really rich UI associated. And as you can see, I've created this timeline, and it shows it's a very live data. Look at my application, right? I can hover over these things. I can change my granularity of when it looks like, and even look at, for example, I have this emergency work order that's in the past. I will want to follow up with that and the team that's associated with that by equipment. And you can sort and select and make this UI as robust and as visual as you want. And so let's go take a look at how I would do this. So I'm going to switch over. So I'm leaving Copilot. I'm going to switch over to the Maker portal. I've got my solution up, and I'm going to go into my app, and I'm going to look at settings. Now my settings, I want to go to upcoming because we're still in preview. And I want to set this Copilot control to on. And I want to enable this app for Copilot, which is creating this MCP. And you're going to click Save. Now what that does is it brings up this little squiggly. It'll be a new icon on your navigation board. And what you'll be able to see now is that I have not only the built-in tools that I was talking about. So I have basic CRUD, create, edit, records, see the view data, that kind of thing. But I also have the 3 custom tools that I did. And you saw 2 of these. You saw the status, and then you saw the status line. And I can download this agent and upload it, and I would be done. But let's create our custom tool. So I'm going to click Create. You need to name it. right? And then I'm going to be able to see, I need to provide the instructions for it to generate. Now I can choose whatever model that I want and whatever you're cleared for. And then I can do two things. I could start putting my prompt in here, or I can use this prompt assistant. And if you've ever done any kind of prompting in AI Builder, you're going to get this right away, right? So I can type something in, but what I'm going to do is I have this prompt already set. I'm going to pull this in and we're going to take a look at it. So I have the idea of, I want it to do a week, month, quarter. I want it to show it as a timeline visual. I want to display my work orders. I want it to provide the data. And here's really the secret sauce of this, is that I want to add those fields. Remember in the pop-up of the timeline, I want to add those fields that I want to show. Now I can add text, I can add PowerFX, but I'm going to go over here to Dataverse. And I'm going to say, look at my maintenance work orders. And now you can see that I have all of the fields from that maintenance work order table that I can choose from. So I'm going to just start clicking on the things I want. I want who requested it, priority. I think that's enough. They're upcoming work orders, so there's no start and end date. And I'm going to click add. Now, if my custom tool requires the information that comes back to be filtered in a certain way, I can certainly add that filter attribute here, but I'm not going to add a filter currently. And then I'm going to choose test. Now, what this is going to do is it's going to take the information, including the Dataverse content that I added, and create a JSON file that I'm going to use in Visual Studio and the MCP tool and skill over in Claude to create the UI that I need. I'm going to cut and paste this. I'm going to click next. And now I'm going to switch tools and I'm going to go to VS Code. Now over here, I've set it up with all my prerequisites. We'll talk about that, the Power Platform skills, the plugin for Power Platform. I've signed into my Power Platform as a user over there and a maker. And I've got my Claude Code connected with Claude Code Pro. You can use GitHub Copilot Pro to do this. And then I'm going to initiate this skill. And so as you can see, Claude knows the skills that I have loaded, and I'm going to choose this MCP. And what this is going to do is it's going to go out and look at what this is. And it says, I need two things, right? I need a description and the tool. So I'm going to add that into Claude. And then I'm going to add that JSON from Power Platform. And that is here. And this is just that JSON that I had, right? And then I'm going to tell it, go do your thing. Go Claude, go Splunking, whatever, right? And it's going to use the skill that's in this and create that UI. Now this is going to take about, this particular one took about 5 minutes. I'm not going to make us work around and try to do that. I already have that. So I'm going to stop this and save my tokens. And I'm going to go down here to this timeline. What it generated, and I'm going to put this out like this. What it created was this Fluent UI code that I'm going to paste back in my MCP. Now, I can, if I know Fluent UI, I can go ahead and manually change this, or I can use Claude to reiterate and change the things that are until I get it just right. I'm a visual person. I don't know about you guys, but I'm going to go ahead and say show preview. And what you'll see is that now I can actually see. And when I reiterate, I can actually look at that kind of thing and make my adjustments. So it's got all the stuff that I have in here. It's looking at my live data. It used my JSON that I have. So everything looks great. And I'm just going to cut and paste that. And now I'm going to switch over back to the Power Apps And this, when I said next, it went to the UI code. So this is where you paste that UI code in here. So I'm just going to cut and paste that straight in. And say save. Now you'll see that I have that new custom tool. And don't forget, as with every Power platform, you're going to need to publish that. And now the question is, how do we get that new tool and all that declarative stuff over into M365? They have this really great download. So you click on the download app, it's going to package that MCP up for you to be able to upload into M365. Now to upload into M365, you're going to need either Teams upload permissions and publish permissions, or you're going to need to be a global admin or work with your global admins to make that publish available. Notice it's over here. And I have my Teams open here, and I'm going to go over into my Teams site and do the manage apps. And they've changed this recently, so this might look a little different to you. And I'm going to say upload this app, upload to my app catalog, and I'm going to choose that declarative agent until I've been testing this for a bit and during the build. And so here's my agent. I'm just going to select that, and I'm going to say upload. Now, if you don't have publish permissions and things like that, then it needs to go through approval. You're going to have to do that. And then what will happen is then it will appear on your sidebar for you to use. And so what are the prerequisites for that? So a Power App license for both you as a developer and your users. So they need a Power Apps license to access your data. They also need permissions to use your data. So this is very securely time boxed around that you need permissions to do what you say that you need to do in M365. And they also need a Copilot license. So as a user and a dev, you need that. You need, on the Power App side of things, you need to be a customizer or an admin role. And currently, the MCP is only supported in a model-driven app. They're working to expose it and be able to create it for Canvas apps and all the other like code apps and vibe code apps and things like that. And because it is in preview, you're going to need to be in the preview maker portal. So if you can see here, I'm in the preview maker portal. And then on the widget side of things, it took me about probably a half a day or so to set up my VS Code for this. So I have VS Code, I have Node.js, I have Power Platform tools and skills. I also, as I mentioned at the top of this, is that you need GitHub Copilot Pro or Claude Code Pro in order to generate that skill. And then to finish it off, I have some links in the deck. I'm going to be putting this, it'll be in the session notes as well as in the GitHub repository that you'll be able to see. But these are links to the general information around how do you get the tools, how do you look at the skills repository, and some of the web components in Fluent AI. And that's it. That is how you create skills, kind of a whirlwind way to go. I really appreciate you attending my session. If you want to reach out and have any questions, some of the questions that came up during the session at Build were, is it currently in the government cloud yet? And it's not. It will follow that normal cadence around that. As far as being able to, I think there was a question around being able to pass parameters and things like that to a Cloudflow. It would be the same way as if you were doing any kind of data. If your Cloudflow is triggered off of a record ad or something like that, it would automatically, because I'm just, when I'm adding a record or I'm editing a record within M365, it's like I'm doing it right in the app itself. So any of those triggers would happen. And if you have external data sources, depending on how you brought them in, if it's a Power Apps data connector that you're using, or you've created a virtual entity or table around that, then those will work just like they work in your Power App. So just some questions. Feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn or at my email. I'm happy to record or respond to that. So appreciate you taking the time, and I hope you found this session useful.